again. Wherever you go, we go.
Oh, hi. Welcome to the Soul of Hell Roaring podcast. We're glad you could join us. Today's episode is called What's Up on the Mountain? And you probably figured out we're talking about what's up on Big Mountain for the coming winter. To help us answer that question, we've recruited Bob Ambrose, head forecaster for OpenSnow.com, our head regional forecaster for OpenSnow.com. And Bob's going to tell us about his best guess for what kind of, let me back up. Bob says he doesn't like it when you say forecast for the whole winter. He said, I can only forecast out 3 to 5 days. So the winter forecast is a best guess. So Bob's going to give us his best guess for the weather we can expect during the winter this year. From Whitefish Mountain Resort, Matt Gebo, Director of Sales and Marketing, and Chad Sokol, Public Relations Manager, are going to give us their best guess for what's going to happen in mountain operations this year and in special events. From the Whitefish Chamber of Commerce, Kevin Gartland is back for a return engagement. Kevin's going to give us his prognosis for the economic climate in Whitefish this winter. And finally, Kyle Taylor, head coach of the Flathead Valley Ski Foundation Freeride team, is going to give us his best guess about what's up with the Freeride team this year, and also he's going to tell us about a couple of events that they're pretty excited to be hosting. So with that, we got quite a bit to get going on, and I better get ready. At this point, I should thank our sponsors, American Bank of Montana, with offices here in Whitefish, in Bozeman, at Big Sky, and in Livingston, and the Hidden Moose Lodge, located here in Whitefish on Wisconsin Avenue, just between our location here and the turnoff to Whitefish Mountain Resort. We're visiting with Bob Ambrose from OpenSnow.com, and Bob was gracious enough to, a few weeks ago, to look back at last year and talk a little bit about the progression of weather through the year, and now instead of looking back, of course, we're looking ahead, and we're gonna put Bob on the spot a little bit and have to forecast in the future instead of just reliving the past. So, Bob, welcome. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate having you.
On paper, it looks very similar to last year.
Good.
Every year has its own idiosyncrasies and uniqueness, but we are looking pretty similar. We had a weak La Nina at this time of year last year. We were roughly about the same amount of snowpack. We did get it earlier, but in smaller amounts last year. This year, we got quite a bit on Thanksgiving Day and a couple of good dumps. But I just hope we don't get that dry January like we got last year.
Yeah.
And that could change. But yeah, it looks similar to last year, because last year we transitioned into an ENSO neutral, which is where La Nina fades to what would be considered average Pacific water temperatures in the convergence zones where all the storms that's where they form, in the equatorial Pacific. And so with that is projected to return somewhere in mid-February to late February, back into the neutral. And that's roughly what happened last year too. But it actually happened a little bit earlier. I think it did start in January last year. So maybe we'll see a drier February. I don't know. But we'll have to watch that. And, the odds are we will have above average precipitation for the rest of December, January, and then right towards the end of January, early February, we slip back into the neutral, so where it's flip a coin, either or. But that's the odds right now. So maybe we'll get that that snowier January this year. We'll see. Probably the hardest thing about forecasting for whitefish is that, sometimes these weather models want to bring that cold air over the divide and just, from having skied at Whitefish, my first season pass was 97, 98, I think, knowing that every time they say that, which generally you have to kind of take a deep breath and go, that really only happens about 60, 70% of the time. A lot of times the National Weather Service will do 18 inches to 12 to 18 inches in 24, 36 hours on the big Malibu. It's like, I hardly ever see that kind of snow to give up. Yeah, and it's because the weather models don't handle this cold air coming over the divide, kind of what we've seen just as experiencing as locals.
Right.
It's always, whenever you have that clash of the cold air coming from the east to west, and, they can surges of moisture coming in from the west and the southwest, it's always, it's a dicey forecast. We're the diciest forecast.
Where are they going to convert?
Yeah. So, sometimes I just spill it out and say, I just don't know. Other times I just do it, if I'm not in the mood to explain all that stuff. So,
And another one that is relatively new as well is the whole concept of the Arctic vortex.
yeah, and now the Arctic vortex again it's always used as a meteorology term, except I think people like the term vortex.
Yeah.
It scares people. So, we used to call it Arctic incursions, right?
Yeah.
That's the sort of the standard term we used to use. Now, some of the TV weather guys, an Arctic vortex. Well, meteorologists also like to once in a while use that term.
Yeah.
And if it is a vortex, when it really affects a large part of the northern tier of the United States, and because it really does draw that air down into this,
Way down.
way down into the south. So central. And now, at OpenSnow, we have a lot of very incredibly driven meteorologists leading our company. And they have been working really hard over the last 5 years, to develop a better weather model that looks at typical mountain patterns. And what they've been doing is compiling all this historical data from the last 30 years and refining the AI model. Now, what these models do essentially is it mimics, it shows through AI what the airflow through each one of these miniature canyons and how the incoming front is expected to behave as it approaches where the ski resorts are.
What?
And so we're in our second week of this. It's called Peaks, P-E-A-K-S, the Peaks model. And this will be the first test for me because I want to see what snow levels, how they correspond to the Peaks AI forecast through snow levels.
If for those that are out there and would like to know more about what they can learn, could you tell people how they can find OpenSnow.com?
Yeah, just go to OpenSnow.com and you can sign up for a free trial, a 30-day free trial. And then after 30 days, there's 2 tiers. And I may be wrong with the pricing, but I think one tier is roughly 50. The other tier is about 80, 75 or 80. And it will allow all subscribers to essentially view the same weather maps.
Welcome back.
Good to be here, Tim.
Nice to have you.
Feels like I never left.
Well, yeah. Time.
Are you implicating that I may be leaving Tim?
I don't know. The last time we talked to Dan Graves, he had his bag packed and he was on his way out the door. So
I understand.
So looking at the 25-26 season, is there, what is it that gives you maybe some insight into what we can hope for, or what we might be able to expect, a travel forecast, if you will?
Mm-hmm.
What's your barometer?
I haven't checked the Farmer's Almanac yet, so I don't know what the weather forecast is, and I don't know that I would believe it if I read it anyway. But I think we're really set, and kind of the table is kind of set to have a really amazing year this year. Certainly there's hiccups in the economy, but they haven't been as serious as I think many of us anticipated or feared. Based on what's happened this summer, we've seen some parts of the valley say that their business is down tourism-wise, but we're busting records at the airport and we're busting records at Glacier National Park, and our folks here in Whitefish have done extremely well this summer. So I would look for that to carry through. Certainly the variables are the weather, the variables are, the other main variable is the economy. Yeah, so if the economy stays strong or stays where it is right now, I expect we're going to have a good year.
Have there been any changes in town or changes that you know of on the mountain maybe that might show up as either a good thing or a bad thing next winter?
I don't think there's a whole lot of major changes that we're anticipating. And we don't have kind of the first year in several that I'm not aware of a major construction project up on the hill. And we have some new condos going in. We have a new hotel development that should be opening up before winter, right down in downtown Whitefish. That it gives a little more exposure because there's going to be another group out there selling whitefish, right?
Yep.
But in terms of major developments, I haven't heard of any new events coming in our way that would spark things. I think it's going to be a business as usual winter. What do you hear?
Well, I agree that it really is going to be dependent on the snow more than anything. But I think given at least a 50-50 shot at being average or better in terms of the winter, I agree. I think it's going to be a good winter.
Yeah, well, you have to be optimistic. In your cheat sheet of questions you gave me, what am I scared of? I'm not scared of anything. I don't see anything out there that concerns me that we're going to have some kind of dramatic downturn. I expect that we'll continue to have strong demand for what we do. One of the things that sets us apart, and I think this probably comes into another part of what we're doing, is just the fact that we haven't gone on to the nationwide pass mania that most of your resorts have, and I think that sets us apart too, but we can probably talk about that in another aspect. I think that's really a relationship with the town kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. And it is a question I have for later.
Yeah. So, sorry, that's what you get for giving me the questions in advance.
No, I think that pretty well covers it in terms of the questions I had, it's encouraging to hear that there is that there's enthusiasm in town for the product that continues, for the direction that the product is going on the mountain, and how skiing fits into the whole thing.
Yeah, if there is one thing that I'm hopeful for, is that we continue to see the Canadians come back.
Some of the reason why we're seeing, especially in that southeast region, where we're seeing increased visitation, or at least steady visitation, I think stems from the ski club business that has been robust at Whitefish Mountain Resort for decades now. Our group sales team puts a lot of effort into getting out to different shows around the United States to try to attract ski clubs from Florida and Texas and Pennsylvania and Chicago and the Midwest. We host ski councils frequently from different regions. In fact, this coming winter, we are going to be hosting the Crescent Ski Council, which is Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee, I believe, is where those folks are coming from. So it's a bunch of ski clubs in all those different states, and they come together as a council, and they usually bring 200 to 300 skiers from that region. They'll ski for 6 days, and they'll stay at different properties around the community. And the funny part about these, these groups is they are always so focused on ski racing, which some of these, they're coming from places where you just wouldn't imagine they would give a lick about ski racing, but they always want to have a race. So, we have to set up some timing for them and give them a couple of days at gates, but it's a great piece of business, and it's from really geographically diverse. We don't have to spend a ton of money to go get them, and then they go home and they talk about their experience to their friends and family and coworkers and such. So I think that's one of the ways that we've seen sort of this word of mouth viral spread throughout, especially the Southeast, where we just we really can't figure it out otherwise. I think right now we've got 3 bids as a community for winter, which would be fiscal 27. So the 26-27 winter. We have 3 different bids for councils, which are like 300 or so folks coming for a week at a time. So we're trying to manage that with all our lodging properties and trying to figure out if we can really make that work, because it can be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. As you may or may not know, we are the Soul of Hell Roaring podcast, coming to you from the Ski Heritage Center on Wisconsin Avenue in beautiful, almost downtown Whitefish, halfway up to the base of the big mountain. Excited to have another individual from to sort of continue our conversation with Whitefish Mountain Resort. So today I want to welcome Chad. We've got some questions, and we've been talking a little bit about what's going on, and Chad's going to give us some updates on what's right in front of us here for the next couple of weeks, what are the current conditions, and then further on into the winter. So thanks for being here. Welcome.
Happy to be here.
And tell us what's new and exciting on the mountain.
So our trail maintenance crew has been really hard at work through the spring, summer, and fall. They have done something like 180 acres of trail maintenance across the front side, as well as some pockets in the Hell Roaring Basin and Flower Point. So anyone skiing on the front side will notice a lot of improved access through the trees, all the way from Chair 1 East Inspiration and all the way from the summit down to Russell Street. So they've just been there for months ahead of the season, working hard and getting the trails in good shape. No new trailers to announce this season, but we did invest heavily in some grooming and snowmaking equipment. So we have not 1 but 2 new Prenoth Bison snowcats. One is actually brand new, and that's the Prenoth Bison X. It's top of the line, very cool terrain park specific model of snowcat. And don't ask me to explain the mechanical details, but it's got these wings on the sides of the tiller that really make it easier for our crew to shape terrain park jumps. So that's very cool. The other is a Prenoth Bison as well. And we've added 2 new snowmaking guns to our arsenal of snowmaking guns. So those have really helped us build up our snow base, open up some lower elevation terrain early in the season, and just get things started. So we heard from a cell tower company, and they came in and installed a cell tower at the entrance to the fur lot. So it's one of those 60-foot towers that's kind of disguised like a pine tree. It's just awesome because that was, something we had heard a lot about, is that folks weren't able to make phone calls and send texts from the base area.
Yeah.
And now they can, and that should really help folks out as they navigate the mountain, especially on busy days around the holidays.
Yeah, and I know it's an issue here is to try to make the very best you can out of what parking you have, and at some point there just is no more parking. So, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was done this past season, but pretty much every season since I got here in 2021 was our parking crew has been adding spots around the periphery of existing lots. Yep.
Yeah.
Wherever they can, they've been moving dirt and adding some spots. You probably noticed as you drive down toward the base lodge now, there's quite a few extra spots just
along the road, yeah.
on the right side of Glades Drive.
Yeah.
We squeeze in the cars where we can. We also really encourage folks to take the snow bus. It's an awesome service. It's free. It stops dozens of times throughout the day, and so anytime we can, we encourage folks to carpool or take the snow bus, and just skip the hassle of traffic.
Is there anything you can do to reward carpooling, or do you just encourage it, or others?
Yeah, we have a carpooling rewards for employees, and if you have, I think it's 3 or more people in a vehicle, you can park for free in the dogwood lot until it fills up on weekends. And that's normally a paid lot, and it's right there in the village. So definitely an incentive if you get 2 friends and get up to the village early in the day, free parking close to the woods.
Well, that's great. Cool. Yeah. Perfect. So looking, just again, for people who might not know, so when you talk about we're going to get slammed, we're going to have a big day, how many skiers are we talking about on one of those kind of days, skier visits? And then off the top of your head, a second question is going to be, do you know what the all-time record is? So
I would have to check on the precise number for all-time record, but those busy days can easily get up into the 7, 8, 9,000 numbers. They're very busy days.
one of the things that we're starting to hear more and more in the industry in general, and that I hear a lot around here, is that it seems like there's a lot more incidents where we have either collisions or near collisions on the slope, and I know there's a lot of concern with kids, there's a lot of concern with seniors, which I'll be concerned when I become one. Just policy-wise, where do you go with that, and what's up?
Yeah, like you said, it's really an increase in concern industry-wide. I think ski hills all over the place are dealing with this. We are always reminding folks to abide by the skier responsibility code, use some common sense, watch your speed, look out for others, and just really do anything you can to help avoid injuries on the slopes. We are especially focused now on straight lining, so folks really need to watch their speed because there are skiers and riders of all skill levels on the slopes, and someone with less experience who's not capable of skiing as fast as you might just not be able to get out of the way. And if you're skiing recklessly and out of control, and you can't stop your own speed and prevent a collision, then we are prepared to pull passes and make sure that kind of behavior doesn't happen. So,
what does the events calendar look like, and what's going on?
Yeah, just starting tomorrow, we have our first of 4 Wednesday night Skimo League race nights. So those are always very popular as folks are gearing up for the Whitefish Whiteout excuse me, in February. The day before the Whiteout, I just learned we're also going to be hosting a vertical challenge to supplement that weekend's events. There will be the Winter Carnival's scavenger hunt. Yeah, we're a very full event schedule, lots of Freeride and freestyle events as well. throughout the later months, and then as always, we'll close it off with the fun skate.
Perfect. So you mentioned the whiteout a minute ago, and then another one that is an annual event and gets bigger every year is the Nate Shoot. So when can we look for those?
Yeah, so the whiteout this year will be on January 31st. We also just have added a vertical challenge the day before the whiteout to supplement that weekend's events. And then the Nate Shoot, border cross, and bank slalom snowboarding race will be in March on the 14th. That's an awesome event. It's been happening on the mountain for a very long time. It's I believe this year is the 27th or 28th year it's run consecutively. It supports the Nate Shoot Foundation, which a very great local organization. They work on suicide prevention in the community, and the snowboard races are just really, there's a lot of camaraderie in the crowd there. So
With that, again, for the uninitiated, you mentioned skimo.
yeah.
And what's a skimo?
So skimo is short for ski mountaineering. Folks have, if you've been to Whitefish Mountain Resort, you've no doubt seen folks hiking up the mountain with skins on their skis or on their splitboard. And so, folks really love to hike up and ride down and forego the chairlifts. So, in a nutshell, that's what skimo is, at least in terms of our events. We have 4 league nights where folks race. It's an endurance race where folks are hiking up to the summit and skiing down. There's a fresh course layout each week, 4 Wednesdays throughout the season, and then those lead up to the Whitefish Whiteout, which is a very big, very well attended ski mountaineering race that will happen at the end of January this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. When you're riding up the lift, a lot of times you'll be going over a number of people that are hiking right up under Chair 1, and I know that comes with some policies and procedures and whatnot, but can you kind of explain how that whole uphill traffic scenario works?
Yeah, so we have an uphill policy that we've worked on with the U.S. Forest Service. That's because most of our skiing terrain is located on the Flathead National Forest. We have 2 routes. One is the Bang Up route, one is the East route. And just in the interest of preventing collisions between uphill and downhill skiers, we have very strict rules about when those routes can be accessed for uphill traffic. And it really is important because we at Whitefish Mountain Resort have a responsibility to make sure that our slopes are operated safely, and it's just really important that folks check that uphill policy, make sure they understand where they're supposed to be, check what time and how long they expect to be on the slope so that they're not ending up in closed terrain. I should also mention that before and after operating hours and before and after the season, the rules are modified. Rules are in effect in order to keep folks safe from grooming and snowmaking equipment. You getting too close to a snowcat that's moving, or high pressure water line that leads to a snowmaking gun is really, really dangerous. And so, anyone can check out the policy at seawhitefish.com/uphill and learn all about it. I did a couple laps in the backside this morning, and it was still very, very fun. It was easy to lay an edge in those groomers, and those powder days aren't too far from now. So
No.
yeah.
Well, we're still, according to Bob, we're still in a La Nina cycle, and we will be at least through midwinter. So in spite of these little route interruptions, we should be confident that we're going to have some of those days.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll stay in touch through the course of the winter. And as I said, if you ever have anything that you want to get the word out on, you know, we'd be happy to help and be involved in any way we can. And
now we're visiting with Kyle Taylor. Kyle, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Kyle has up our Freeride program on the mountain, put underneath the ski foundation umbrella, but not ski racing. I think that was the first when we I know it took a few years to get that to happen, and we'll give you a chance to tell about that. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. I've always appreciated the history here at the Ski Museum and be carrying on, letting people know what's going on. So thanks.
Well, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. So to get to the meat of the coming season, one of the things we talked to Chad about a little bit was the events calendar, and we saved here pieces out from that. So you, the foundation and you and the team are hosting a couple of events this year.
Yeah, our first event is January 9, 10, 11, and it's a national level event. Last year we had our national level event the beginning of March, so we were the last national level event in the U.S. Now we're the first one, so we're basically going back to back, which is kind of cool in a way for our athletes. But yeah, so first weekend of January, and we've got athletes and teams coming from all over the West: Winter Park, Breckenridge, Tahoe, Alaska, Seattle, Mad River Glen, Lake Louise, Canada, U.S.
And Canada.
Yeah. And then we move into February, and we have our regional competition, which is they level these with stars. So the national level is 3-star. This is 2-star. When you go to the finals, that's 4-star, and when you move on to the Freeride World Tour, it's 5, 6. Anyway,
Yeah.
The regional competition is more athletes from just Montana and Wyoming. So we'll get teams from Jackson Hole, Targhee, Missoula, Bozeman, Bridger, Big Sky, Whitefish. So that's actually a really cool way for our whole team to get involved, and not all our athletes will get into the national comp, but everyone will be able to compete in the regional. And then we also have the Whitefish freestyle team as well that will have a lot of their athletes compete. So it's a really huge local contingent, and if there's any local athletes out there that are interested in getting involved and competing, or just want to test the waters, there's probably space for you, and you can still enter and be able to compete locally here with everybody else. It's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the freestyle team, so just to clarify that the Freeride team and the freestyle team are not the same.
Correct. Yeah. The freestyle team generally has a little bit younger participants, and they're run through the mountain. We are a little bit older. We don't have athletes until they're older than 12, and we are run through the Flathead Valley Ski Education Foundation. I think that having both is really important, and I think the mountain thinks of the freestyle team as sort of a feeder program for us. But I think that the freestyle program has really great coaches. They have the ability to bring kids up from 7, 8 years old, and they're getting experience and good coaching. And then we try to take them at 12, 13 and continue that on to it's a really cool symbiotic relationship. And I know that the freestyle team this year is going to do more freeride comps, and that's only means good things for the sport of freeride and whitefish.
The pyramid gets bigger.
Pyramid's getting bigger. As you say that, as the pyramid gets bigger in whitefish, it's getting bigger worldwide. We should have freeride in the Olympics in 2030 in France, 2034 in Salt Lake.
So that's a done deal.
It's not officially announced,
Yeah,
but I think it will definitely happen. It's in the back channels. It's a yes,
Yeah.
but I think I shouldn't say it on any sort of podcast.
okay. But nobody watches this. So
Well, now we could be the first to break the news. So freeride will be in the Olympics in 2030 in France.
So there's the STL on the phone now.
This is where you're going to get all your kids.
So back to the events. What sort of field size do you expect for each?
Yeah, the national we're looking at 100. It's sort of a lot. I could look it up on my phone. I want to say 140 athletes for the national, and somewhere around 100 probably for the regional.
And that's both genders combined.
Correct. Yeah, and that does include U15, which is 15 to 12-year-olds in ski and snowboard, male and female, and then U19 and the same, ski and snowboard. Snowboarding fields are generally quite a bit smaller. We try to just at least hopefully fill a podium with the number of athletes, but 6, 7.
Yeah, in fact.
And then the men's like U19 field is around, for the national, 60 athletes, and then for the regional maybe 30 or 40.
Yeah. So the teams themselves, how many athletes are with you right now? Sure.
Yeah, our freeride team is 31 athletes this year. We started at 9 athletes our first year. This is our 5th season as a freeride club, the Flathead Freeride Club, part of FVSEF. So we've gone from 9 to 31, which we've definitely limited. The 31 was an addition; it was supposed to be 30. But yeah, it's our 5th season of the Flathead Freeride Club, and we are happy to have our program grow from 9 to 31 athletes. And on our 3rd season, we had our first 2-star competition. And last year was our 4th season. We had a national competition. And so moving into our 5th season, we're starting off the season as the first national competition in the country and actually in the hemisphere. And so we're going to set the table, and we're training judges that come in here to learn. I've got TDs, which in sea racing it's called technical delegate, but in freeride we call it technical director. Small difference, but basically they're coming from Chile to learn here and sort of understudy. And I don't know, the world's looking at Whitefish as a freeride destination, or it's pretty cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What part of the mountain do you use for the free? Where is it going to be for the nationals?
Yeah, so we will put we have 3.5 venues that we like to use. Haskell Slide, the front nose of East Rim, which is they call performance, and then down under the lift, and then eventually, if the mountain ever lets me, we'll get over to picture sheets, but probably not this time. We work closely with the patrol and the mountain, and just make sure it's all safe. It's the right venue for the field size, for the level, for all of that, and make sure it's the right comp. I really think that we have 4 different great venues at Whitefish. In the summer, I like to take a group of our kids down to Chile, and we do 10-ish days of freeride camp, and we ski high Andes powder in August. It's amazing. And then we do a couple of freeride competitions down there. Come out and support us if you're in the area. Come see the kids compete. January 9, 10, 11 on Big Mountain, and February 7th, 8th also in the same places.